Major perspectives in modern psychology. Psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior. Over time, experts in this field have come up with different ways to understand how people think, feel, and act. These ways are called perspectives, and each one focuses on a different part of human experience. Just like you can look at a building from different angles to see more details, psychologists use different perspectives to understand the full picture of human behavior. Each perspective has its own beliefs, methods, and ideas about what is most important when studying people. Let us explore the major perspectives in modern psychology using simple language. One of the most well-known perspectives is the biological perspective. This approach looks at the body, especially the brain and nervous system, to understand behavior. It says that thoughts, feelings, and actions are connected to the physical parts of our body. For example, if someone is feeling anxious, the biological perspective might look at their brain chemicals, hormones, or even their genes. It explains how things like brain injuries, illness, or drug use can affect how we think or behave. Doctors and scientists who follow this perspective might use brain scans, blood tests, or medicine to help people feel better. Another important perspective is the behavioral perspective. This one is all about learning through experience. It says that people behave the way they do because they have learned those behaviors from their surroundings. If someone gets rewarded for doing something, they are more likely to do it again. If they are punished, they may stop doing it. This idea comes from early psychologists like John Watson and B.F. Skinner. For example, if a child gets candy every time they clean their room, they will want to keep cleaning it. This perspective focuses on actions that can be seen and measured, rather than thoughts or feelings. Then there is the cognitive perspective. Cognitive means thinking. This perspective focuses on how people think, remember, learn, and solve problems. It says that our thoughts influence our behavior. If someone believes they will fail an exam, they might not study hard, and they might actually fail. Cognitive psychologists study how people take in information, store it in their memory, and use it later. They try to understand why people make decisions, how they understand language, and how they solve problems. This perspective is especially helpful when trying to understand learning, memory issues, and mental health problems like depression. The psychodynamic perspective comes from the ideas of Sigmund Freud. It focuses on the inner parts of the mind, especially the parts we are not aware of. It says that past experiences, especially in childhood, shape who we are today. It also believes that we all have hidden desires, fears, and conflicts that influence our behavior. For example, someone who was hurt emotionally as a child might find it hard to trust people as an adult. This perspective also talks about defense mechanisms, like denial or repression, which are ways our mind protects us from painful thoughts. Therapy from this view often involves talking about childhood and dreams to uncover hidden feelings. The humanistic perspective is very positive. It says that people are naturally good and want to grow and reach their full potential. This perspective focuses on free will, personal growth, and self-awareness. It says that each person is unique and has the power to make choices that lead to happiness and fulfillment. One of the key figures in this perspective was Carl Rogers. He believed that people need love, acceptance, and understanding in order to thrive. This view is often used in therapy to help people find purpose and build confidence. It encourages kindness, personal responsibility, and the belief that everyone can improve. The sociocultural perspective looks at how society and culture influence behavior. It says that our background, community, and the people around us shape how we think and act. For example, a person who grows up in a strict family may have different beliefs and behaviors than someone who grows up in a more relaxed environment. This perspective also looks at how things like race, gender, religion, and income level can affect our experiences. It is useful for understanding differences between people and for solving social problems. It reminds us that we are not just individuals, but also members of larger groups that influence us. There is also the evolutionary perspective. This approach looks at behavior through the lens of evolution and survival. It says that some behaviors have developed because they helped our ancestors survive and pass on their genes. For example, the fear of snakes or spiders might exist because those creatures were dangerous in the past. Similarly, the desire to care for children or find a partner can be explained as ways to keep the human race going. This perspective helps us understand things like aggression, attraction, and parenting from a long-term, biological point of view. The biopsychosocial perspective is a more modern approach that combines ideas from different perspectives. It says that to fully understand a person, we must look at their biology, their thoughts, and their environment. For example, if someone is struggling with addiction, the biological part might be a chemical imbalance. The psychological part could be stress or depression, and the social part might be peer pressure or lack of support. This perspective is helpful because it looks at the whole person instead of focusing on just one piece of the puzzle. These perspectives are not meant to compete with each other. Instead, they work together to give a more complete understanding of human behavior. In real life, psychologists often use more than one perspective to help their clients. For example, a therapist might use cognitive therapy to help someone change negative thoughts, while also considering their past experiences from a psychodynamic point of view. A school counselor might use behavioral techniques to improve a student's grades, while also thinking about their family background and personal strengths from a humanistic view. Each perspective has its strengths and weaknesses. The biological approach is great for understanding how the brain works but might ignore the impact of personal experiences. The behavioral view focuses on actions but might not consider emotions. The cognitive approach is useful for problem solving but can be hard to measure. The psychodynamic perspective digs deep into the mind but can take a long time. The humanistic view is very positive but might not always deal with serious mental illnesses. The sociocultural perspective opens our eyes to social issues but might overlook biology. The evolutionary view helps explain basic instincts but may not apply to every situation. The biopsychosocial model tries to balance all of these to understand the full picture. In conclusion, the major perspectives in modern psychology give us many ways to understand people. Whether it is the biology of the brain, the way we learn, the thoughts we have, the feelings we hide, the society we live in, or the goals we chase, all of these play a part in shaping who we are. By learning about these perspectives, we can better understand ourselves and others, and we can find better ways to solve problems, build healthy relationships, and live fulfilling lives. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about psychology in simple and easy language, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more content that makes complex ideas easier to understand. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.